I recently took a trip to my local Dollar Tree to get some gardening supplies, and I was completely shocked at what I found. On the shelves, there was nothing left. Now, I know it's getting close to the end of the summer, but for us gardeners, that doesn't mean that we stop gardening. So in this video, we're going to take some regular Dollar Tree items and transform them into garden tools. Seed starter trays can really jumpstart your garden. We all need them as gardeners, but let's be honest, they can be a little pricey, especially in the big box stores. I find that the small storage bins at Dollar Tree are just as good as these seed starter kits. Many of them come with a cover, which means instant greenhouse. Just remember to put some drainage holes. You don't want your seedlings to drown. Another option is aluminum foil. They're deep enough to start your seedlings, and it's no frills. If you're starting veggies from multiple seeds, some of the aluminum foil comes in 3 packs for $1.75. They come in a number of shapes and sizes like rectangular, square, and even round. Some of them are deep enough to plant deeper rooted vegetables like radishes and beets. I think this is great because the aluminum foil acts like a heater, so it will heat up the potting soil that's in the container. You can put it in a bay window or on your windowsill or any place where there's ample sunlight. Just remember to use a soil that is designated for seeds. Garden soil or topsoil is way too heavy for seedlings. Did I tell you before my husband built my raised bed, I used to use totes. That's right, totes. They are fantastic to grow plants and veggies in. They're deep enough and they are great, and you can see through them. I just drilled about 6 holes on the bottom and voila, an instant raised bed without the hefty price. The big advantage is that I was able to move the totes when veggies needed more sunlight and other veggies needed less sunlight. You can't do that with an established raised bed. Did I tell you the bane of my existence is weeds? I spend hours sometimes just weeding. When I get rid of one, another just pops up. And I would spend so much money on weed barriers and weed fabrics, the ones that you get at the big box stores, for about $30, until I found out this little secret. Brown paper rolls are just as good as those weed fabrics. They do the job, which is to suppress the weeds and to act as a barrier. I look at the back of the label to make sure that it doesn't have any dye or added color, but you can see it's just as flexible as any weed barrier you'd use. And I like that it's biodegradable. When I was putting down my hydrangeas in my garden, the weed barrier that I got from one of the big box stores felt like it was plastic. The brown paper rolls feels more natural. Did I mention I'm growing watermelon for the first time, and I'm growing them vertically in a pot? While I'm thrilled that they're getting bigger, I am concerned that the stem won't be able to hold up the weight of the watermelon. This is where the stocking comes in. They act like somewhat of a hammock to hold up the watermelon in place so the watermelon doesn't break off from its stem. Garden friends, if you're getting any useful suggestions from the tips that I'm providing, do me a favor and subscribe to my channel or like this video. These are just everyday simple items that you can turn into garden tools that are useful. No assembly required, no complicated DIY projects, just basic things that you can use if you're in a pinch that can substitute as a garden tool. I don't know about you, but if I had a dime for every time I misplaced my garden tools, I could literally take a trip around the world. I'm constantly losing them all over the place in my garden. So these flexible plastic bins are a great way to keep track of my garden tools and keep them in one space and one spot. If you're looking for more decorative flair, these essential storage bins are really, really cute, and they can store more garden items. Besides, they're better and prettier than using those black plastic pots that I used to store my garden tools in. So what's in that squirrel's mouth is one of my tomatoes. In fact, he's gotten a half a dozen of my tomatoes. Another simple garden hack that you can use from Dollar Tree to keep these little critters and other things that want to munch on your veggies are these wire baskets. You can put them over your vegetables and they act as a barrier to keep squirrels and other critters away from your veggies. I like the fact that they have holes in them so they have plenty of ventilation, so it keeps the airflow throughout your garden and your raised bed. And they come in various sizes. Plastic laundry baskets are also a great alternative for bigger vegetables. For those of us who live in a colder climate, we have to protect our tender plants like hydrangea buds or other plants that may get damaged because of the winter frost. These mesh laundry bags are a great way to cover up your plants and and shrubs and keep them warm during the cold winter months. They're breathable and they allow air to circulate. Another ordinary everyday Dollar Tree item that you can substitute as a garden tool. I'm using these Dollar Tree broomsticks as a way to hold up my netting in my raised bed. I have about 6 of them and I put them each in a corner. I put the netting up to prevent the birds and squirrels from nipping on my veggies and tomatoes. I used to use the ground garden stakes that you find at the big box stores. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't mind them, but they can become pretty pricey if you need more than a dozen. These Dollar Tree broomsticks do just the same job, and most of all, they're affordable. So garden friends, just because it's not found in a garden center doesn't necessarily mean that you can't use it in your garden. Let me know what other Dollar Tree items you use to substitute as garden tools. I would love to hear from you. Leave your suggestions in the comment section. I love those veggie labels that go in the raised beds, but I lose them all the time. I'm thinking of using spoons and just labeling them and using them as garden labels for my raised beds. I like that they're color coordinated, so I can use different colors to go with different veggies. All I have to do is grab a black magic marker and label them. And last but not least, I cannot do without my garden clips, but I went to Dollar Tree and they were out of them, so I'm going to use these laundry clips. They'll help to support my tomatoes and other leggy veggies. So that's it, guys. Simple Dollar Tree hacks that you can use as gardening tools. That is no fuss, no DIY, no hard things to assemble, just things that you can grab from the shelf and use it as gardening tools. Thank you so much for joining me here on my channel, The Determined Gardener. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your family and friends. And by the way, did you know that there's something in your kitchen that can help treat those bugs in your raised beds? I just happened to have made a video. You may want to find out what that is by checking out my latest video. See you soon. Bye-bye.